She is one of the best, most genuine people that I've met, not just in politics, but in my entire life. She is grounded, and caring, and generous, and funny. And that's why Joe is proud to introduce himself as Jill Biden's husband. And to see them together is to see what real love looks like through thick and thin, good times and bad. It's an all-American love story. Jill once surprised Joe by painting hearts on his office windows for Valentine's Day. And then there are these Biden kids and grandkids. They're everywhere. They're all good looking. Hunter and Ashley. Who lived out that family creed of raising good families and looking out for the least of our brothers and sisters. Bo, who is watching over us with those broad shoulders and mighty heart. Himself a man who left a beautiful legacy and inspired an entire nation. Naomi, and Finn, and Maisie, and Natalie, and little Hunter grandchildren who are the light of Joe's eyes. And gives him an excuse to bust out the squirt gun around the pool. This is the kind of family that built this country. That's why my family is so proud to call ourselves honorary Bidens. As Yeats put it, because I had to quote an Irish poet, and Seamus Heaney was taken. Think where man's glory most begins and ends, and say my glory was I had such friends. Away from the camera. Jill and Michelle have each other's backs just as much as when they're out championing our troops. Our girls are close, best friends at school, inviting each other for vacations and sleepovers. even though our terms are nearly over. One of the greatest gifts of these past 8 years is that we're forever bonded as a family. But, of course, I know that the Obamas are not the only ones who feel like. They're part of the Biden clan because Joe's heart has radiated around this room. You see it in the enduring friendships he's forged with folks of every stripe and background up on Capitol Hill. You see it in the way that his eyes light up when he finds somebody in a rope line from Scranton. Or just the tiniest towns in Delaware. You see it in the incredible loyalty of his staff, the team who knows that family always comes. Before work because Joe tells them so every day, the team that reflects their boss's humble service. Here in this building where there have been no turf wars between our staffs because everybody here has understood that we were all on the same mission and shared the same values. There has just been cooperation and camaraderie. And that is rare. It's a testament to Joe and the tone that he's set. And finally, you see Joe's heart in the way he consoles families, dealing with cancer. Backstage after an event, when he meets kids fighting through a stutter of their own. He gives them his private phone number and keeps in touch with them long after. To know Joe Biden is to know love without pretense, service without self-regard, and to live life fully. As one of his longtime colleagues in the Senate, who happened to be a Republican, once said, "If you can't admire Joe Biden as a person, you got a problem." He's as good a man as God ever created. So, Joe, for your faith in your fellow Americans, for your love of country. And for your lifetime of service that will endure through the generations, I'd like to ask the military aide to join us on stage. For the final time as president. I am pleased to award our nation's highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. And for the first and only time in my presidency, I will bestow this medal with an additional level of veneration. An honor my three most recent successors reserved for only three others. Pope John Paul II, President Ronald Reagan, and General Colin Powell. Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to award the Presidential Medal of Freedom with distinction to my brother, Joseph Robinette Biden, Jr. Will the aide please read the citation? Military aid. Vice President Joseph R. Biden, Jr. In a career of public service spanning nearly half a century, Vice President Joseph R. Biden. Jr., has left his mark on almost every part of our nation, fighting for a stronger middle class. A fairer judicial system and a smarter foreign policy. Providing unyielding support for our troops, combating crime and violence against women, leading our quest to cure cancer. And safeguarding the landmark American Recovery and Reinvestment Act from corruption. With his charm, candor, unabashed optimism, and deep and abiding patriotism. Joe Biden has garnered the respect and esteem of colleagues of both parties, and the friendship of people across the nation and around the world. while summoning the strength, faith, and grace to overcome great personal tragedy, this son of Scranton. Claymont, and Wilmington has become one of the most consequential vice presidents in American history. An accolade that nonetheless rests firmly behind his legacy as husband, father, and grandfather. A grateful nation thanks Vice President Joseph R. Biden, Jr. for his lifetime of service on behalf of the United States of America. The Medal of Freedom is presented. Barack Obama. Joint press conference with Philippine President Benigno Aquino III. Delivered April 28, 2014, Manila. President Aquino, the Honorable President of the United States Barack Obama and his official delegation. Members of the Cabinet present, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Today, the Philippines welcomes President Obama and his delegation on his first state visit to the Philippines. The United States is a key ally, a strategic partner, and a reliable friend of the Philippines. With this visit, we reaffirm the deep partnership between our countries. One founded on democratic values, mutual interest in our shared history and aspirations. And one that will definitely give us the momentum to propel our peoples to even greater heights. We witness the most recent and tangible manifestations of this in the immediate outpouring of assistance from the government of the United States and the American people in the aftermath of Typhoon Haiyan, or Yolanda. And your nation's clear expression of solidarity with the typhoon survivors. Mr. President, in your State of the Union address earlier this year, you spoke of how American volunteers and troops were greeted with gratitude in the affected areas. Today, I reiterate formally the Filipino people will never forget such kindness and compassion. On behalf of my countrymen, I thank the United States of America once more for being a true friend to our people. The friendship and partnership between our countries, however, are evident not only in times of crisis and immediate need, but also in other aspects of our relations. Our defense alliance has been a cornerstone of peace and stability in the Asia-Pacific region for more than 60 years. And our strategic partnership spans a broad range of areas of cooperation. Contributing to the growth and prosperity of both our nations, and fostering closer bonds between our peoples. As such, President Obama and I met today with the shared resolve to ensure that our deepening relations are attuned to the realities and needs that have emerged in the 21st century. Which affect not only our two countries, but also the entire community of nations. I thank President Obama for the U.S.'s support for our government's efforts in modernizing and enhancing its defense capabilities. The Philippines U.S. Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement takes our security cooperation to a higher level of engagement. Reaffirms our country's commitment to mutual defense and security, and promotes regional peace and stability. Both President Obama and I shared the conviction that territorial and maritime disputes in the Asia-Pacific region should be settled peacefully based on international law. We affirm that arbitration is an open, friendly, and peaceful approach to seeking a just and durable solution. We also underscored the importance of the full and effective implementation of the Declaration. Of conduct and the expeditious conclusion of a substantive and legally binding code of conduct. In the South China Sea, all towards fostering peace and stability in our part of the world. We, likewise, welcome the active participation of the United States in regional mechanisms such as the ASEAN Regional Forum and the East Asia Summit. Typhoon Haiyan showed the entire world how vulnerable the Philippines as well as other developing countries are to natural disasters. As such, humanitarian assistance and disaster response is an essential component of our cooperation. As the United States and the American people have always been ready to support us in the aftermath of disasters. So too do we look forward to the continued cooperation of the United States and the rest of our partners in the international community as we undertake the task of building back the communities affected by Typhoon Haiyan. This morning we made a promising start as we discussed how our partnership can be enhanced through building climate-resilient communities. These kind of strong communities are important not only in withstanding disasters, but also in fostering inclusive growth across the entire country.